everyone, welcome back to the All Inclusive podcast. As we near the conclusion of 2023, I'm thrilled to present the final episode of the podcast for this remarkable year. This year has been an incredible journey filled with valuable insights, engaging conversations and shared learnings. And we're wrapping up the year with yet another great conversation. In today's episode, I have the pleasure of being joined by Dylan Aupetit, who serves as the EMEA Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Lead at Worldwide Technology. WWT is a robust and privately held global technology service provider with a rich history of over 30 years dedicated to helping the world's largest and most innovative organisations redefine their approach to technology and leverage it to propel their businesses forward. Our conversation delves into Dylan's path to leadership in diversity, equity and inclusion, the influential role of storytelling, and the groundbreaking community impact project undertaken by WWT. As always, before jumping into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and follow on your favourite podcast platform so that you never miss an episode. That being said, let's jump in. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, how you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thanks for having me. I'm very much looking forward to this discussion.
Me too. So let's kick things off. Tell our listeners a little bit more about you and how you became involved in DEI leadership.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Dylan. I was born and raised in France. I moved here 12 years ago. So I was pretty much 18 on my own as a au pair. And then from there, I very quickly become a member of the tech world. Been in tech for 8 years and we've worldwide for 4. It really came naturally to me, the D&I space, I think based on my family dynamic, where I come from, but also I think George Floyd was a bit of a wake-up call for me at least. And I just wanted to raise my voice and be part of the change. And I just jumped in, I wrote an essay, and I was like, I need to share my feelings. And yeah, this is how it all started.
Oh, fantastic. So how has your personal experiences impacted the way that you approach diversity, equity, inclusion at the organisation that you're currently working with at the moment?
You just touched on a few anecdotes for you. So my older sister is half Vietnamese. My younger sister is white with blue eyes.
Oh,
So we
wow.
all have different experiences through life, but yet we are coming together. And stuff my mom used to do, she used to make different dishes from a different background throughout the week. And I think this is how I really very quickly understood, what inclusivity was and the richness of diverse environment. I remember my grandma. I grew up in a country estate with a lot of tower blocks, and my grandma used to, go downstairs to the playground at 4 p.m. and a lot of kids were there, like playing around. And she was that grandma who brings sweets and cakes for everyone. And we used to queue. And at the beginning, I was like, I don't want to queue. I'm the grandson. I'm not queuing for cakes. uh,
Yeah.
and she made me queue like any other child that was there, and that really taught me actually that is the way to go. We're all equals. Doesn't matter if it's my grandma or not. I'm queuing for my cake with my friend behind me and in front of me. So that's how I approach it. I tend to drive that and remind myself that this is where I come from, and that helped me drive these amazing initiatives and meaningful actions really.
Oh, fantastic. And so let's delve a little bit deeper. So we've talked about like your personal experiences, how it impacts it. So what initiatives has your organisation or have you've also implemented to promote diversity, equity, inclusion?
Yeah, so we focus on 3 outcomes area, so workforce, business, and communities, and all those what outcomes comes with actions. We got 8 actions. I could touch on a few right now. If you look at our listening sessions that we have created, which allowed employees and leadership to create like a feedback loop. So you go on a call with our leadership team, and they let you speak about different topics. They want you to share your thoughts and feedbacks, and I think that's very key. That's what's been driving those change, because our employees are resting their voices on different topics. Our leadership take this into account and then do the actions behind that. And we have employee storytelling, which is pretty much fostering vulnerability and empathy across the globe. Doesn't matter where you are, who you are. You can be in the UK, log into the platform, and you can see a story from one of your colleagues in APAC about their journey into tech or their struggle growing up. It could be anything, and that is so powerful. And we're so proud of this process. I mean, stories that are on there are unbelievable, and that's just making us closer already. So that's one thing that we're very proud of. And I think the next thing that I can touch on is our ERGs, so employee resource groups, which are, we have 7 of them in different communities. We're really the key of what we do. We're the baseline in terms of resources, education, collaboration, networking inside and out of the organization. So yeah, those 3 areas for me are top of mind when we do planning and so on. And we got more into that, but yeah, I think those are the 3 that I like to highlight for this discussion.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, those 3 for me are really key approaches. I think is the listening piece, because you want to, whilst you've got your idea of, okay, this is what needs to happen in order for us to have an inclusive work culture here, and in order for us to kind of diversify our workforce, but you want to make sure that you're hearing from those people that are actually going to be impacted by anything that you put in place, right? You want to hear from them, like, how do they feel that the working culture currently is now? Like, what do they think is missing? As a better starting point, rather than you just rushing to just starting something, which we do say. I feel like it's important that you do take some action, but it's important that you first establish where your gaps are, right?
Exactly.
And the other key aspect that you mentioned is about storytelling. I'm a huge advocate for the power of storytelling. Like, I mean, I feel like it's so powerful. It's unbelievable. Because it's a way to really connect with other people, with others on a human level.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll always find someone can tell a story, and in that you're pretty much going to be able to find at least 1 or 2 things that you can resonate with, right? Because we're multifaceted people. Like, we've got so many different dimensions to us.
Yeah. And I do think that, people tend to connect when there's a sense of how you make them feel. And what a better way to share a story that's personal to you, that you can't put a facade on, you can't lie about it. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's important when you know, put your guard down and you start telling your story and the impact that it had in your life. People have different views. I mean, and I'm very an advocate for people to share. Don't be shy. Be true to yourself and share your story, because somebody in a room either experienced the same thing as you did or had no idea. Either way, you're doing an amazing impact on that person or that group.
Yeah, I posted actually a comment from a quote from Maya Angelou the other day on my LinkedIn, and it basically was, her quote was saying that people may forget what you say, they may forget what you do, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And I thought like it was such a powerful quote. And it just resonated so much so for the work that we're currently doing with DEI, is that it is, whilst yes, we need to make sure we've got the practicalities and the actions and all that sort of stuff is put in place, but the other side of it is the human side, and it's how you're making people feel is what is really going to be the sticking point, I think, for
Yeah,
change.
I agree. And I think, everything that we do is a people effort. It's not my effort. It's everybody's effort. If you want a better world, a better place, we have to all chip in. And it's about respect, curiosity. Be curious. If you got a coworker or friend who is sitting next to you, ask questions. I think this is sometimes the struggle is people don't want to ask questions. because they fear that it's the wrong question to ask, or it's inappropriate, or it's out of context, or whatever it is. And I think we get to that point where, first of all, workplace is no longer, you're doing a 9 to 5 and you go home and this is it. It's becoming very interconnection within your life, personal life, new friends,
Yeah, I
and so
mean, like how we spend how many hours of our daily lives
on.
at
Yeah.
work? So there's definitely going to be a crossover,
Yeah.
100%. So from your experience, what do you think DEI leaders aren't talking enough about when it comes to DEI?
I think you touched on it just now around intersectionalities of identities, like different dimensions. I think we talk and discuss a lot about the DNI space focus on similar identity, gender, race, and sexual orientation. But sometimes we forget that one person can have multiple dimensions to them, and I think it is a very tricky subject. We say it when it comes down to women, it's very different to be a white woman and to be a black woman. It's very different to be white and gay and black and gay. It's how we approach that. And I really want to dive into this at some point in my career. I'm still very early on, but I want to learn from others what they've been seeing in that space, because, and plus the Gen Z is coming for us, and those guys are full of that multi-dimension of identities, and so on. So I think it's very key for us in the workplace and personal life to really understand when they come on board and into the workplace to how we can support them. Um, and sometimes we don't understand that. Sometimes people don't understand the differences, and we do have different challenges, different on different people based on the multi-dimension of who they are. So I think, yeah, that's something that I like to hear more about.
Mm, yeah, definitely. And so, what do you think the impact of speaking on intersectionality a little bit more is going to have?
I guess it will foster like an awareness, like empathy within those organizations to be more inclusive. It could change policies, practices, and the way we create initiatives. It could change the whole aspect of the DNI structure. Because if we start focusing to those areas, we're missing out on people that are, we talk about the ERG, for example, you have 7 ERGs for those communities. What if somebody's across 5 of those? I think this is how that could change a lot of things in policies, practices, and initiatives that we are running for sure.
Definitely. So, you touched on some of the key areas that your organization is focusing on strategies for promoting DEI. What's one project that you're working on now or that you have recently completed that you are most excited about or most proud of?
Yeah, so in UK, we are launching our first UK community impact project. So we are sponsoring a STEAM program, so science, technology, engineering, and maths program into a school near Hackney. And on top of that, we're creating a cybersecurity curriculum and around eco-friendly recycling models and so on. So we're very proud of this. They're doing amazing in terms of educating their students and children. We aiming to target the 7 to 11 years old, because sometimes again we want to target older kids. And we thought let's see how it goes in terms of diving into cyberbullying, password sharings, privacy, because I think those kids are 11, and I know they have phones and they go on and WhatsApp
Yeah,
and
it
chat.
makes total sense. Like I feel like we need to start as young as we can in order and trying to teach and educate our children on cybersecurity, because yeah, I feel like that they're getting younger and younger,
Mm-hmm.
um getting into tech and having mobile phones, social media. um I mean, the something that me and my husband have discussed is that we do very much want to try and delay that as much as possible with our daughter. But again, it's all dependent on other people's family preferences. But I think the educational piece on cybersecurity, cyberbullying. It's so important. So that sounds fantastic that you guys have implemented something like this. And what's been a challenge in setting it all up? Because I can only imagine it's a lot of work. So you probably did face a few hiccups. Tell us a little bit more about those.
Yes, it is a lot of work, and I think when you have a vision to do something, but when you haven't worked with children or with a school before, you
Yeah.
I think I went all out, and I feel like we have to strip it down. So it's understand, the school requirements, what their support they need. Um, but overall, it's because we've been working on this for the past year, so it's been a long journey. It Yeah, that was the main. I think I didn't think of a few bits like simple things like pictures or animated pictures on the slide deck that we should look at in more details. And the modules, they can't be too long because they're children, and if you spend 45 minutes on one topic, they might be out of their head and start to be a bit agitated and so on. So those type of things I did not realize. I'm not a
Mm.
dad yet, so I
Yeah,
didn't
but I
cross
mean,
that line.
even without being, I think even without putting like whether you have children in your life or not, and whether you are a parent or not, I think it goes to that neurodiversity aspect, which probably is an area that isn't probably talked about as much, and it's something that I haven't really delved as deeper into it with some of the guests on my show as I have other areas. But yeah, in you speaking about adapting the way in which you are presenting the learning, presenting this and educating these kids, it just goes to show a little bit more on that neurodiversity aspect and that people learn in different ways. And even with younger children, we do need to be mindful that we're able to adapt so that they'll be able to easily pick that up.
Yeah.
And even as we grow older, that changes. Like there are some situations where for me, I take on information a lot easier if it is visual. I'm very much more of a visual person, whereas other people like to read. So it's finding that balance, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was a mix of ideas. I wanted to do videos and games and, not spend too much time in presenting, because the point was for them to learn something. And I think if you spend an hour with a child or adults, to be honest, in a meeting
Yeah,
for an
just
hour,
talking.
yeah, just talking,
Yeah,
that won't work. But so yeah, that was, finding the right balance to support the school and the children. So yeah, but we did it. It worked out.
fantastic. Yeah, I'm so excited for you. It sounds like an amazing project. And so, how are you going to be? Have you thought about how you're going to be measuring the success of this?
So yeah, so first of all, this is not only like a year project for us, it's like a long-term project, like 5, 6 years. I think if you can replicate that program to different schools, I'm happy to go ahead and do it. So I think the main key for us is to track the school satisfactions, how we are delivering those, the enthusiasm of our volunteers from our workplace. Um, do we need to review the program, because maybe something will change, requirement will change, and so on. So make sure that we keep up to speed on the program. And the employee engagement. I first sent out the email saying I need 23 volunteers, and within the first 5 minutes, I had 15. So,
Oh,
things like that.
fantastic.
And then also feedback from the employees. What are you taking from when you go there and you come back home? What is you're feeling? Do you want to keep doing that? There's things like that that we need to make sure we consolidate, and that would create a pool of feedback that we can just really work on and change. It might be like our employees think it was, not very organized, too many kids in one group, maybe,
Yeah.
I think we need to make sure we support both sides. So yeah.
I think it's important to get feedback from not only the school, the students, but also your employees that are but participating in it and that volunteering to participate. Because no doubt they'll have their own takeaways, and how it's impacted them personally as well. That's the other side of doing these sorts of projects and initiatives. It's not only kind of ensuring that you're future proofing your pipeline and just creating a better world. It's also allowing your employees to have a new experience that potentially could be beneficial for them in the long run as well.
Exactly. And I know some of our employees have children, and
Mm.
I can only imagine, delivering a model about passport sharing or online communities versus like real life communities. You can go back home and just share that with your children. And that's something that you can take away straight away, and have open discussions about, what's going on your phone, on your social media and so on. And I think that for me, it will be a win if employees go out of their way and be like, actually, let's talk about this at home.
Mm.
Let's go for that, on time on the weekend. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, it'll be like a nice little ripple effect.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So Dylan, I'm really enjoying our conversation. Just before you do leave us, there's a few bits that I want to pull out from you. So, with all the work that you've been doing in the DEI space, can you share any external resources or partnerships that you've been able to work on that have really helped in you being able to succeed in the goals that you've set for DEI?
Yeah, so I think the first one would be the Great Place to Work for All organization. So we are on the list, and I think going into the summits and learning from, they've been working with hundreds and thousands of organizations across the globe to support them. And I think they delivering the right tool set, networking space for us all to make worldwide a great place to work globally. So I think they have amazing newsletters. You can go on the website, you can check them out, what they're doing, what is the trend. So I think those have been that organization that have been, quite important for us globally, I would say. And then a recent one for us, especially in UK, this one, it is the UK Black Business Show / Week. The CEO Raphael and the CEO Michael, amazing people, and they are driven for us to think about diverse talent, allyship. What is allyship? A couple of weeks ago we done a allyship workshop with those two for our management team, and it was just amazing to just be able to have a safe space where you can discuss your power, what we say about inclusivities and equity and so on. So that was quite powerful. So yeah, just increasing your brand awareness within the Black community. For us, it is key to make sure that all communities know who we are and that we are looking for talent. We are not waiting. We want talent, so we need to go and fish them. So yeah, that is the two main organizations that I can think of that are really supporting our drive. And then I guess co-sharing learnings. I'm very lucky that I work with so many organizations, like Cisco, Dell, and so on, massive organizations that we can co-share learnings, we can create events together, we can make change together, and I think that is what I've learned so far is co-sharing learnings from others. It is so crucial because if you look at it, Dell, for example, they've been in business for years. They've been doing this. Same for Cisco. They've done things that work for them. They've done things that didn't work for them. And I think for us, knowing that they try those things is important. And everybody should be co-sharing learning at this point. This is D&I space. This is for people.
Yeah.
It's not about money or revenue. It's about the people. And I think that's why I'm learning as we go is like people want to share, they want to teach, they want to let you know what they're doing. So it is amazing to see how much people care and are passionate about it. So yeah.
No, I agree. I think collaboration and partnership with other companies that are not only within your industry but your goals are aligned is always going to be a good thing, I think, because that's the way that you're able to advance a lot quicker, because then they can tell you some of the things that they've done that actually, you know what, we did this, it didn't work really well, we think you might want to try something like this is what we've learned from doing this, and vice versa, right? Yeah. So it's a two-way relationship. It's not just one-sided. I think that's one important thing as well to note when it comes to collaboration. It's both people. It's everybody really chipping in and getting value from those collaborations. So just before you do go off, Dylan, could you give one piece of parting advice to the aspiring DEI leaders out there? Because I know you're At the beginning of your journey, as you just said, with DEI, you're well cemented. You're doing fantastic work. So I'd love to hear a piece of advice for you out to any of those other leaders that are looking to get involved.
Yeah, I think being committed to learn, has been yeah, learning has been impressive for me for the past 2 years. So learning and self-reflection, from what you've been doing, because sometimes you do things and you don't realize the impact that it will have on people, and on you. So I think self-reflection is key, and keep yourself up to date. It's always evolving, new trends, new markets. I know for us, the UK, US, the Asian market is very different. Each region is very different, so make sure that you understand that. And yeah, I just research about best practices, emerging trends, as I said, and don't underestimate the power of active listening when you speak to diverse groups. And that's what I've learned so far is listen to understand has been a key player. I mean, I know sometimes it's very hard. People want to listen to reply very quickly. And now I'll get to my space where I want to listen to understand so I can better support you and create real connections. So yeah, that's my main takeaway, like listen to understand. And then you become more clearer straight away when you understand where the person come from, their stories and so on. So yeah, that's my
Oh,
takeaway.
fantastic. Thank you so much, Dylan. That's an amazing advice there. So for anyone who is listening and if they want to connect with you, how best can they do that?
LinkedIn, social media. Yeah, just hit the button follow, come and DM me. I love to co-share learning. As I said, like I love discussions like this. So please do reach out. Always happy to engage in further discussions. So yeah, LinkedIn is where I am.
I will be putting a link down below to your profile. So anyone who does want to connect with you, they can do that through there. Once again, Dylan, thank you so much for having a chat with me today. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. And I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you so much, Tasha. That was great. Loved it.